What's up, football fam? It's your boy Jay Tuck, and what I want to do today, we are getting into the dark days of the summer where we have this huge gap until we can get back to football camp and get back to preseason. But what I want to focus on is educating. This is what I always encourage people to do, right? Build your muscle, build your mental muscle when it comes to understanding the game of football. And what I want to do is start to break down the game of football at a very elementary level. Now, I know a lot of you guys may have played football at all different levels, or you understand the game. We got to understand we have viewers from all over the world, right, that might not know the game of football. So what I want to do is simply build, and educate all the viewers in this community, so then that way when we get ready to camp and we're watching film, we're going to be talking concepts and coverages and mixed match zones and all sorts of crazy stuff, right? And it's really going to help your football mindset where, hey, I'm able to grasp some of these concepts. And in worst case scenario, it's going to help you stunt on the haters when you go to the bar or you're on Twitter or Facebook or wherever and you're actually talking ball. And I've been wanting to do this for years, but I never just had the way to go about it. But salute to Pro Quick Draw, man. This is a very powerful tool. They reached out to me. They gave me access to this tool. Now, this is the tool that all the NFL teams use, college football teams, and even high school level teams use for their play design. They were nice enough to give me access, so then that way I can educate you CFO gang. So what I want to do today, I want to go over personnel. Offensive personnel is very important, and it's the very bare bones of understanding the game of football. So let's get to it. Now, when we talk about personnel, you'll often hear me when we're watching my film session. I'll say they're in 11 personnel or 12 personnel, 13 personnel, they're in 21. Like, we'll talk about that heavily, especially when we're in the season and we're breaking down a lot of film, right? So what I want you guys to remember, the very first number, that stands for the running back. That stands for Zeke, right? So the 1, if it's 10, right, that means there's one running back. The second number, that stands for the tight ends. How many tight ends are actually on the field? That is the second number. And as we go in depth with some of the NFL language, they'll add like a player, right? So it'll be like 10, 11 personnel, CeeDee Lamb. Like, that's kind of letting you know where to spot CeeDee, but we're not going to get that far right on day one. This is just day one of class, right? So that's why I went very bare bones. So when you look at it right now, you're looking at what we call 10 personnel. You have one running back. Now, for some of you who are kind of more in depth, right, I didn't do the X, Y, Z's and the flankers. Like, we'll get into that stuff later as far as the naming and titling the positions. I want to keep this fairly simple, right? So you have one wide receiver, 2 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers, and 1 running back, and no tight ends. And this is what we call 10 personnel. Now, it's very important that you guys understand when it comes to understanding personnel, what are the offensive coaches trying to do? You're trying to get the play calls out quick, right? So they might say 11 strong right or 12 strong right, like trying to get the play out and the personnel out quickly. And from a defensive perspective, you are wanting to match personnel. So I know a lot of Cowboys fans watch this channel, right? That's the reason why we were struggling with our run defense, because we wasn't matching personnel, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But when it comes to matching personnel, it's not about the formation. It's about the players, and we're going to show that in this very next play right here, right? So, right, same formation. This is 10 personnel. We have 1 running back, no tight ends. Okay, bang. Similar look, the same exact formations, except this time it's not Convante Turpin right here in the slot, all right? This time it's Jake Ferguson. Well, Tuck, it's the same formation, right? It's the same formation. Though this is 10, right? This is 10 because we don't have an inline tight end. I'm calling this 10 personnel. Whoa, pause. It's about matching the players and not the formation. So with this being Jake Ferguson, this now changes to what we call 11 personnel. You now have Zeke. I know some of you are mad about that. You have Zeke and you have Jake Ferguson, and you now have 3 wide receivers. So you see how that can change based on the actual player. Same exact look, different players, right? So we go from 10 personnel right, to 11 personnel just based off the adjustments of the player. Okay, you guys got that? So this is 10 personnel, 1 running back, no tight ends. This is 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. Okay, and then you just build from there. So the very next play we'll look at, now we have 1 running back and we have 2 tight ends. We have Jake Ferguson right here, and we got Luke Schoonmaker right here. All right. And we have 2 wide receivers. We are now in 12 personnel. Now, for some of you smarties who watch this channel, tell me what personnel does Mike McCarthy like to run the most? Going back from Green Bay to the Dallas Cowboys, what we did last year. Comment below and let me know, what is the offensive personnel grouping that we run the most in Dallas, right? And things slightly changed from Kellen Moore to Mike McCarthy, but I want to see how sharp you guys are, right? So right now we are in 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. You got it? Simple, fairly simple, but I want you guys to be able to grasp this as we're going through film and we're going through some of the conversations as we start to talk about scheme. All right, so what's next? All right, this is the one that Tuck loves, right? And if you watch my Jake Ferguson film breakdown, we actually ran this in Dallas a few times, right? So this is what we call 13 personnel. We have 1 running back, we have 1 wide receiver, the CeeDee Lamb out here, and then you have Jake Ferguson, you have Luke Schoonmaker, and you have John Stevenson. This is power, right? So you're going to line up big and run behind this big, massive offensive line, right? So this is why personnel matching is important. So going back to all you Dan Quinn, conspiracy theorists, right? If you come out with Zeke being, let's say, 220-ish, 230-ish, right? You got Schoon, probably 245. You got Jake Ferguson, 245. You got Stevenson's around 245, right? And you're coming out here with Marquise Bell, who's 205. You have Wanye, who's 216. You have, Donovan Wilson, who's like 213-ish, right? The size that you have on the field doesn't weigh with the size that you have offensively, right? So you get overpowered, right? Simplify it for those of you who play Madden, right? If you have a bunch of little small guys out here in dime and I have a bunch of big guys out here in power and I run the ball, all of your people are getting knocked over. So that's why it's important to match personnel grouping. So if you were to see this come out in 13 personnel, well, that's when you want to have your linebackers out there. You want to have your big boys out in the field, because more than likely this offense is coming downhill. All right. Now let's switch it up a little bit. What happens if, bang, now you have 2 running backs on the field and no tight ends? What are we in now? First number, running backs. Second number, tight ends. We have 2 running backs, no tight ends. We are now in 20 personnel. All right. So you see, this could be Zeke right here. This could be Rico right here. You have Brandon Cooks. You have CeeDee Lamb. You got Jalen Tolbert out here. We are now in 20 personnel. Okay. Now let's say, for instance, there's a motion. Okay. Boom. We're going to motion Zeke out. Boom. All right. Well, now it looks just like this formation that we had originally. So you might be saying, all right, Tuck, well, I think that now we're in 10 personnel. Nope. We are still in 20 personnel. We still have 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers and no tight ends, right? So don't get tricked, because you'll see a lot of different motions and different things like that. Remember, it's about the player, not the formation. That's why, like, certain player groupings have to have certain numbers, right? Because it's easier to match, because you can't get too tricky, right? So you're sitting back, your defensive coordinator, you're sitting up top, they're putting out Jake Ferguson, they're putting out, to match personnel. And the last one here, which you'll see kind of frequent at the NFL level, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. This is 21 personnel. Often what you'll see, pretty much, you'll see this quarterback, he'll be under center. You might see this a fullback right here, and then you might have the running back lined up directly here. This is what we call an offset eye, right? This is an eye, and we'll get into all this fun stuff this summer. Eye, offset, right? And for those of you smarties, let me know, where's the strong side? Answer below, where's the strong side on this clip, right? So now you guys got it, right? We are now in 21 personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. So that's a simple way to understand personnel groupings. In the next video, what we will do is we'll go through some of the position titles. Like I'll explain the X wide receiver versus a Z versus a slot Y flanker, like all that fun stuff, right? But I wanted you guys to understand the bare basics when it comes to personnel grouping. So that is it. But what I want you guys to do is a little homework. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to post some film on the screen, and I want you guys to list in the comments below what's the personnel, and let's see who gets an A for today's class, man. So y'all ready? All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's get it. What personnel group do you see right now currently? This is question number 1. Question number 2. Tell me below, what personnel grouping are you seeing right now? All right. Question number 3. What personnel grouping are you seeing on the field for the Dallas Cowboys offense right now? All right, pencils down. So that is it, y'all. This is what we're going to do this summer. I'm going to build a playlist, so you definitely do not want to miss out. Get your football IQ up, not just watching my channel, but research on YouTube, look on Google. I want you guys to be sharp. And that's what I love the most about my community specifically. We talk ball here. We understand the game, but we have some new people who are viewers that really don't know. We want to make sure everybody's sharp and get y'all ready for this upcoming football season, man. So follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. Comment, like, subscribe to the content. Quick shout out, big shout out to Pro Quick Draw. Salute to you guys. Thank you for letting me have access to this. I love this tool, y'all. We can get trippy all summer, man. I haven't even put in some of the other stuff that I can start doing, man. I can start, like getting here, I can start adding my angle routes. I can start doing all sorts of stuff, man. So we are going to have fun this summer, man, educating everyone on the game of football. And you definitely don't want to miss out, because this is how we stay sharp and we understand what's going on Sundays, man. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and get your IQ up. Let's get it. Peace.